I used to go with my friend Kim to Diddy's parties. Kim was my best friend. We both attended the freak-offs. There were also parties on Epstein's island, and going there used to be a lot of fun.
She was best known as being Paris Hilton's sidekick, but in reality, I think that girl was on a mission.
She got a taste of that drug. She wanted that power. You know that you can make $1 million in one day. What does it look like?
Fergie, Diddy, Christina Milian, Ja Rule, of course, Lindsay Lohan. Photos that Paris took of Cameron Diaz and Jared Leto, JC Chazé, Nick Cannon, Michael Jackson, Paris making out with Jack Osbourne, Paris hanging out with Gwen Stefani.
I should have had baby with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian. You know, Kim was Paris Hilton's assistant.
Paris Hilton just flipped the script. And if she's going down with the Epstein files, she's dragging names with her. First up, Kim Kardashian. Once inseparable, their bestie era now reads like the opening scene of a scandalous thriller. Paris is saying they weren't just selfie buddies. She's alleging both of them were on Epstein's island, sometimes as guests, sometimes as the party favors. And Paris doesn't stop there. She claims Kim pushed things further, treating those moments like a one-way ticket to stardom. Was it ambition, a survival move, or something darker? Now the internet is split. Is this Paris unburdening years of secrets, or is there a louder motive behind the timing? Who's telling the truth, Kim or Paris? And why did Paris choose now to speak? The answers could rewrite everything we thought we knew about both of them. Stay tuned.
I've known Paris Hilton from the time she's 12. She's hot. Her parents are friends of mine, and you know, the first time I saw her, she walked into the room and said, "Who the hell is that?"
It emotionally, physically me.
Ghislaine said, "Oh my God, who's that?" And my friend said, "Yeah, she's called Paris Hilton." And Ghislaine said, "Oh, God, she'd be perfect for Jeffrey. Could you introduce us?"
This one's far from over. Want it tighter for a 30 to 45 second hook, or stretched into a full YouTube intro with timestamps and B-roll suggestions?
Incredibly rich, incredibly famous, but the sex tape is rearing its head again. Yes, and it is now caused more legal strife between herself and her state partner, Ray J.
The internet went radioactive the moment the newest batch of Epstein-related documents leaked. These weren't tiny footnotes. They were explosive. Names being discussed, travel records circulating, and timelines people online started stitching into conspiracy boards. And when Paris Hilton's name started trending with all that chatter, boom, panic mode activated. For years, people online have whispered about her family's proximity to powerful circles. The Hiltons were social climbers among the elite. That much has always been public. But suddenly, with Paris trending again, folks on social media began connecting dots they thought they saw and jumping to conclusions at lightning speed. Instead of simply denying everything outright, Paris did something nobody expected. She aimed the spotlight right at Kim Kardashian, and that's when the internet took off running. Commentators started comparing their upbringings. Two girls raised in wealth, surrounded by influence, moving in the exact kind of circles now under public scrutiny.
Kim Kardashian allegedly had some videotapes and audio tapes that was actually recovered in the raid at P. Diddy's home.
It didn't help that both appeared in photos with high-profile figures who are currently facing questions. Online detectives claimed there might even be old party footage involving Paris circulating within sealed evidence. Victims and advocates publicly demanded full transparency, calling for every name and every document to be revealed. But weirdly, the narrative shifted. Suddenly, Paris became the face of the scandal, at least in the court of public opinion. And insiders say that's exactly what pushed her over the edge. Because from Paris's point of view, Kim was there too. Kim benefited too. Kim partied in the same worlds, and yet she's treated like she's squeaky clean, calmly posting on Instagram while Paris gets dragged. That double standard? Paris had enough. Those close to her claim she's been holding onto receipts for years, tired of shouldering the rumors alone while Kim rises into billionaire status. And honestly, the history supports the tension. Fans always felt Kim climbed the social ladder through Paris, using that friendship as her golden ticket into elite circles. Paris, on the other hand, has spoken openly about being pushed into adult situations at a young age. A documentary source, Surviving Jeffrey Epstein, even discussed how she was preyed upon by powerful adults when she was just 19, highlighting the darker side of Hollywood's elite nightlife. So when Paris sees Kim acting untouched, unbothered, unconnected, she's done being silent, because in her mind, if she has to answer questions from the public, then so does Kim.
Is it working? Now it's working, yeah.
Hey Gunther, what's up? It's Paris. I miss you, and I'm at my party right now in Malibu, and all my friends are drinking the rich Prosecco. Everyone loves the Royale the best. I love the passion fruit, but all my friends really love the Royale.
Paris has publicly insisted she didn't know Ghislaine at all, but the internet is ruthless. The moment she said that, old party photos resurfaced online showing them laughing together in the same VIP corners. Cue the outrage. But here's where even critics soften a bit. Fans point out that Paris was extremely vulnerable during those years. People who followed her career remember the chaos, the partying, the substance abuse, the trauma she now openly discusses. Many believe she wasn't calling the shots. She was a young woman surrounded by older, powerful people with dangerous intentions. And by the time she realized what world she was in, it may have been too late. That's when the comparisons to Kim heat up. While Paris was being handled by the Hollywood machine, Kim Kardashian wasn't a socialite yet. She was Paris's assistant, stylist, the girl carrying the bags. And yet, even back then, watchers saw Kim's ambition from a mile away. She was always right behind Paris, posing over her shoulder in photos, sliding into conversations, making sure the camera never missed her face. Some say Kim wasn't just in the room, she was studying the room. And when she saw the kind of circles Paris was being ushered into, circles filled with money, power, and dangerous privilege, Kim allegedly made sure she kept her foot in that door. To the public, it looked like a simple friendship, two rich girls having fun. But people online now ask a much darker question. Was Paris a pawn in someone else's game, while Kim was busy learning how to play it? That's the part that stings for Paris.
What's going on with this? That is if I ever go to India outfit.
I should have had baby with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian.
There was a story that came out, a video that was shown saying back in the days when Kim K was Paris Hilton's assistant.
Yeah.
Was it true? Was Kim K Paris's assistant?
Yeah, she used to sleep in my guest room. Yep. And then some weird shit happened. I'm not gonna say what happened, but and then she made it to the master bedroom.
The belief that while she was barely surviving, Kim was strategizing a path to the spotlight, and now that Paris feels like she's being targeted alone, her patience has snapped. If she's going to be dragged back into this mess, she's not going alone.
Very often there'd be this beautiful dark-haired girl in the background trying to get in the shot.
Was that Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, she was Paris's friend, her stylist, and her assistant, and they were often seen together.
Anytime, there was cameras needed, Paris would basically tell Kim Kardashian to text me.
In reality, I think that girl was on a...
People online love pointing out that Kim seemed to follow Paris's fame blueprint, but with a totally different level of strategy. Paris has spoken in the past about being pressured and manipulated during the most humiliating moments of her early career, often in a haze of trauma and substances she never asked for. Many believe Paris never had control, but Kim, the internet's version of events, paints her as the opposite. Calculated, intentional, and always 3 moves ahead. The public has long speculated that Kim and Kris played a major role in shaping how her infamous tape was released. Ray J himself has claimed they were involved from the beginning. Contracts, approvals, all of it treated like a business deal rather than a scandal.
Kanye flew home last night, and he came back this morning. I want to show you guys what he got me. He got me all of his tape back.
Oh, Kim.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
And in the story fans tell, Kris Jenner allegedly acted more like a director than a panicked mother. So when rumors started swirling that Kim's name might get pulled into the Epstein discourse, the internet swears the energy shifted fast. The queen of silence suddenly turned into the queen of legal action. Her approach? According to online commentators, control the narrative before the narrative controls you. And the first person in her crosshairs? Ray J, the one man she can't erase from the origin story. when an old viral clip resurfaced of Ray J claiming Kim and Kris were under federal investigation. Kim's team reportedly didn't hesitate to hit back legally. To fans, it looked like panic. To critics, it looked like strategy. To Paris, it looked like the height of hypocrisy. Imagine watching someone who was right next to you back then, someone who benefited from every risky room and elite introduction, now live her life untouched and untarnished, while your name is dragged yet again. That's the moment Paris said, enough. Because if there's one thing Paris refuses to do anymore, it's take the fall alone.
This federal RICO though, on KK Kris. Ooh, the federal RICO I'm about to drop on Kris.
Whispers turned into a full-blown feeding frenzy when conspiracy boards started connecting the Epstein dots to other headline makers. And suddenly, Kim and Kris were in the crosshairs of the internet's loudest detectives. According to online sleuths and a flurry of insider chatter, what began as an unrelated investigation quietly overlapped with Epstein's orbit. And some fans even whispered that Kim and Kris didn't just move in those circles, they learned to work them. People on social media have long pointed at Paris as someone who was dragged through the same party pipeline, a young starlet exposed to a world of drugs, pressure, and bad choices. The theory goes that Kim watched that blueprint carefully, not as a victim, but as a student of the rise. In the version of events the internet tells, Kim and her team allegedly repackaged that playbook. Strategic releases, NDAs, carefully curated angles, and, critics claim, ruthless damage control when things got too close for comfort. Then the Ray J drama resurfaces. When his live rant started circling too many coincidences, the story goes, Kim's camp struck back. Legal letters, public statements, pressure to quiet the noise. Ray J, not one to stay silent, reportedly fired back with a countersuit calling the whole thing a PR stunt. That clash sent people asking the obvious questions. What contract? What NDA? And who exactly was protecting whom?
How much are you willing to show us of your body? How much are you willing to give us of your daughter's body? That is the price of fame, and she did it. This is where we're at. This is why we tell you not to follow the Hollywood types. This is why you should not allow your children to idolize Hollywood. These are not the people that we should be following.
Now, the plot thickens. If Paris really is done covering for anyone, and insiders insist she's been collecting receipts for years, the stakes change. Paris isn't some random tabloid source. She was there. She knows people. And the rumor mill swears those receipts could do more than embarrass someone. They could blow the roof off a carefully reconstructed image. Meanwhile, Kim keeps playing the perfect pivot. Mom of the year, business mogul, law student in public, while quietly tightening her defenses. She distances from old friends, shutters accounts, and moves like someone who has a plan for every headline. But people notice patterns. A silence here, a legal salvo there, and the silence from the feds only makes the whispering louder. When investigators go quiet, the internet assumes the worst. So now every drop from Paris hits like a timed bomb. Every new clip, flight log, or message she teases makes Kim shrink back a little. Smaller posts, fewer public moments, a change in tone. Fans are convinced there's a folder somewhere with Kim's name on it. And if Paris handed over even one smoking piece of evidence, the consensus on TikTok and the forums is simple. No lawsuit, no rebrand, no PR team can spin you out of that. This is no longer just gossip. It's a slow-motion war between two people who once shared the same room, and the internet is watching to see who blinks first.
No, but we have a congressional act now to requiring the release, but they're going to say, you know what?
Subject to
Tom
redaction.
Hanks, it's unfair that he was mentioned
and
because
the
he
law
was eating
says
Skittles.
subject to redaction. Subject to redaction.
And we all know what that means. That's to protect.
That's why I'm saying you will never be satisfied with what's released.
So picture this. Paris is currently standing in the middle of a full-blown dumpster fire, and the flames are coming from the newest Epstein leaks. According to the whispers and the leaked emails making the rounds, there's unseen footage from Epstein's island, footage that allegedly features Paris. Suddenly, she's not just the party's pretty face in paparazzi shots anymore. The rumor mill wants her to be the centerpiece of something much darker. Paris is furious, denying everything on blast. But when gossip gets this loud, nobody's quick to hand her the benefit of the doubt. These whispers aren't new. For years, she's been a recurring name in the rumor columns tied to Epstein's circle, and now client lists and anonymous tips are resurfacing like ghostly receipts. What makes the whole thing stickier is that Paris's family name has always moved in those same gilded social strata. Names, parties, private jets, the kind of orbit where Epstein's path crossed with the elite. Insiders in documentaries and anonymous sources have even suggested there were closer connections between Epstein and members of that world, and where there's smoke, the internet lights a bonfire. Add to that the narrative someone floated in the doc, a young woman discovered at Fashion Week, pulled into a swirling world of fame, influence, and the kind of favors that leave lasting stains. Whether that's truth, selective memory, or sensationalized editing, it's now being replayed in 90-second clips and late-night theory threads until the line between allegation and accepted gossip blurs. So you've got Paris denying, defending, and trying to reclaim the narrative, and you've got a flood of leaked docs, unnamed sources, and online sleuths doing the rest. The result? A reputation on the line, a courtroom of public opinion forming on social, and a story that feeds itself with every new rumor. Stay tuned, or don't. But this one's already become social media theater, and the audience is merciless. Want it even darker? More teeth, more specific beats, or a tighter hook for the first 10 seconds? I can punch that up next. Now this is where the plot thickens. Multiple reports claim that Paris may have been drawn deeper into Epstein's circle after that first encounter, but Paris refuses to acknowledge any of it. She recently told the London Times she doesn't even remember meeting Ghislaine Maxwell. But here's the catch: the internet never forgets. Fans have already dug up photos of Paris looking very friendly beside Ghislaine at events, posing like old society pals. So naturally, people are asking, how do you forget that? Well, experts have chimed in with a theory that's raising eyebrows. They believe Paris might be telling the truth, in her own way. Because if you remember early 2000s Paris, she was the undisputed queen of nightlife. Club openings, VIP rooms, back-to-back after-parties, flashbulbs everywhere. Her entire youth was a blur of champagne, cameras, and chaos. So now, Paris is trying to distance herself. The timeline is messy, the photos are messy, and the public, well, they're skeptical because when the past comes roaring back with receipts, denying it only adds more fuel to the fire. Back in those wild child years, Paris was living life in fast forward, partying nonstop, the paparazzi on her heels, surrounded by the most powerful and the most questionable people imaginable. So yes, there are definitely parts of those nights she might not remember, and plenty that others have never forgotten. Because Ghislaine, she's only chapter 1. Paris has also been photographed alongside Rachel Chandler, a name that sends conspiracy forums into a frenzy. Chandler has been repeatedly linked online to Epstein's inner circle, especially through MC2 Model Management, the agency connected to Jean-Luc Brunel, a man accused in serious allegations tied to Epstein's crimes. So now it's not just one controversial figure from that network, it's two. And for the internet detectives, that's no coincidence. That's a pattern they can't ignore. But buckle up, because the plot doesn't stop there. There's a moment that keeps resurfacing, and it fuels the darkest theories. Donald Trump once mentioned Paris when she was as young as 12, and the way he spoke about her has aged like milk in the sun. It was a publicly recorded interview, the kind that now makes people squirm when it reappears on social media timelines. Fans hear it and instantly ask, why was a grown billionaire commenting on a child like that? What we're left with is a picture the public can't unsee, a very young Paris surrounded by powerful adults whose reputations have since crumbled, and a trail of photos and interviews that raise more questions than she seems ready to answer.
I've known Paris Hilton from the time she's 12. She's hot. Her parents are friends of mine, and, you know, the first time I saw her, she walked into the room and said, who the hell is that?
Did you want to bang her?
She's well, at 12 I wasn't interested. I've never been into that.
Right.
They've sort of always stuck around that 25 category.
But even at 12 you were kind of
No,
like,
but
wow,
I
she's hot.
saw her at 12, she was beautiful. But honestly, you know, Paris gets knocked and this and that, but she's very beautiful. Her
she
skin
dumb?
is flawless. She's dumb like a fox.
And just when you think the internet can't dig up anything worse, they do. Another clip of Trump has been making the rounds, where he casually mentions seeing Paris's leaked tape years later, and discusses it on camera like it's late-night gossip instead of a young woman's darkest moment. Fans still can't get over the way he said it, so casual, so invasive, especially considering he'd known her since she was a child. The clip resurfaces again and again, each time igniting the same reaction. Why was he so comfortable talking about her like that? It's the kind of moment that adds another uncomfortable layer to Paris's already complicated history with the powerful men who orbited her early fame. The public can't help but rewind, analyze, and wonder what was happening behind the glittering facade all those years ago.
Have you seen the video?
I have seen it.
You did. What'd you do? You went on the internet?
It was just.
How did you see that? What did you do?
Melania showed it to me.
She did?
She showed it to me.
What did you think of that?
I think it's probably unfortunate, and perhaps it made.
And that right there, that's the perfect snapshot of how Paris was treated, not as a rising star, but as an object, a trophy in a world obsessed with power and image. But the Trump connection isn't just random drama bait. He had ties to Epstein too. Remember the old whispers? Back in the day, Trump was reportedly rubbing shoulders with Jeffrey on the regular, moving in the same circles, attending the same high-profile events. So if Trump had his eye on Paris, he didn't need to dig far. He knew exactly who to ask and who could make the introductions happen. It's a tangled web of influence, connections, and whispered favors. And Paris, whether she liked it or not, was caught right in the center of it. Now fast forward into the height of the 2000s party era. Paris wasn't just attending the hottest events, she was the nucleus of a wild social galaxy. And the people around her, they were stars, bright, unstable, and dangerously close to burning out. That's where more speculation begins. Because some online theorists claim that Paris wasn't just a guest, she was a gatekeeper to that world. The friend networks, the VIP lists, the after parties, she had access most young celebs could only dream of. And look at the company she kept. Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan, Hollywood's most chaotic princess trio. Fans remember the photos, the nights out, the headlines that spun the world into frenzy. So now, years later, internet detectives are connecting dots the public didn't even notice at the time, and crafting their own dark theories about what influence Paris had and who might have shaped her too. Whether those theories are wild exaggerations or glimpses of a darker truth, the public can't help digging deeper. Because every time a new scandal surfaces, the past doesn't stay buried. It claws its way back onto the timeline. But then, the iconic trio fizzled out. The club-hopping sisterhood shattered, and that's when rumors started swirling. One so-called insider, the kind who claims they've known everything all along, spilled their version of events. A version the internet latched onto like it was gospel. According to this anonymous storyteller, Paris wasn't just the friend, she was the ringleader, someone who allegedly thrived on the chaos around her. They insist that Britney, the most vulnerable and beloved of the bunch, got swept into a world she was never built for. That infamous paparazzi moment, the flashbulbs, the exposed slip while climbing out of a car with Paris and Lindsay. Online sleuths still debate how much was a mistake and how much was orchestrated by the culture Paris dominated. Whether that's truth or fan fiction, one thing is undeniable. Britney struggled and the world watched. Which is why the internet loves connecting Paris back to darker Hollywood power circles. If she ever admitted to being exploited, they say, it would force a closer look at who else got hurt, and whether Paris was just another victim or a product of the same system. And Paris herself has finally dropped the glamorous mask. In recent years, she's opened up in documentaries and interviews about trauma, exploitation, and a young life spiraling under the weight of fame.